Nico, last time we spoke, you had just come off the back of obviously probably one of the lowest points in your career. You just won against Sitchai after that, but again, we have reflected on that being one of the hardest points that you've experienced throughout your life, never mind just your career. But now you sit in front of me, not only King of the North, but King of the World. We've got the ONE Championship featherweight belt in front of us. You're the champ of the world. How's that feel?
It feels good. Obviously, it's something I've dreamed of for as long as, obviously, what's the highest level you can go in Muay Thai? It wasn't known. Like, it was just to be like, fight the best Thais and fight in the stadiums, and then ONE Championship came about, and then that was the new pinnacle. So once I knew about ONE Championship, I knew that was where I had to be, and I done it. I failed at the first hurdle, but like I said to everybody, watch me get to the top of the mountain again. I've been to the top of the mountain before. Unfortunately, I fell off the other side. Watch me get to the top this time and stay there, and that's what I done. How does it feel? It felt amazing. I was proud of myself for doing it, but it is what it is, and it's just on to the next now. Mm-hmm. It's a goal that I've ticked off, and I'm proud of myself for doing it, but I'll never sit and sulk. Yeah. I done it, and I have to do more.
On to the next, which is, an amazing mentality, man, that high-performing mentality. One of the things I was interested to know is, like, it was obviously went to 5 rounds, unanimous decision. How did it feel, the fact it wasn't your typical knockout, it's done, you're standing there? Did you know in yourself, like, I've got this is mine? Absolutely.
Yeah, I knew that it was a close fight. I knew that, and we'll touch on the 5 rounds again, actually, because that's something I want to speak about. But I knew once he shouted, I thought it would. I knew it was close. I knew that the knockdown and the scoring criteria, I ran away with 4 and 5 big rounds. I'd have gave myself 1, gave him 2, maybe gave him 3. So I think I won 3 rounds, and then obviously a big round in the 4th. I knew it was close. As soon as I heard unanimous, I knew that it was me. So that's like when you hear me get my hand raised and says by unanimous decision, I start screaming because I knew at that point it was me. You never know in the ring. You never know. You don't know what fight the judges see. You can only go on how you feel, but the judges might see something else. You know what I mean? And if they said split, then I'd have been shitting myself. But as soon as they said unanimous, I was like, oh, obviously that's me. And what a feeling it was. And it was the only time that I've been okay with going 5 rounds. It was a different experience. I've not went 5 rounds since I was fighting in Manchester and in the Bolton Arena. I've not went 5 rounds since then. Every fight in ONE Championship, it's been round 1 and 2 KOs. Never mind going into the 3rd round, 4th and 5th. So I was actually this was the only time I was happy with going 5 rounds. It was a great experience, and because I knew there was a belt at stake, I didn't care about the bonus. It's the only time I've not cared about the bonus.
Yeah, it is nuts, man. It's like, because you always look at whether it's UFC, ONE Championship, the best ones when people win is when it goes to decision, and then obviously I knew that feel must be unreal.
Of course, financially it's better if you get the knockout, obviously, but in this only one time, I didn't even care. All my focus was only on the belt and nothing else. No financial gain, nothing. I was just so locked in this gold, and that's it. Yeah. And I think that helped in everything in the fight.
I think so. It also marks the perfect way to win a belt as a champion, in the sense of like going, it's not a first round knockout, which great for the bonuses and that, but see, to go and actually come back, because as you said, like rounds 1, 2, like those guys, to come back, and you looked great. Like I actually thought that, I was thinking, holy shit, like 4th, 5th round, obviously, because you've not been in that for so long, you looked so much better. You picked it up, you were having a power shot, like you looked great, man. So it looks like that the preparation was perfect for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he seemed to fade going into the end of the 3rd. And obviously with me, it was just, there's never any fading. It's just, it's either going to, the way I start is the way I'm going to finish, or I'm going to finish stronger than I start, but it'll never be the other way about. I train far too hard to let that happen, which I'm sure we're going to touch on.
For sure, man. But that's what separates the champs, that the people that in those rounds 4 and 5 can put on the pressure, and you've done that. But for sure, we will dive into that. Now, there was three things that I heard you speak about before, this vision thing, the three visions you had. The first of all was putting the belt on your wife, on Amy.
Yep.
Then on JP, and then of course taking it back to your team at Bangtao where it is now. What did it feel like to see Amy there, obviously so proud of you, and to be able to put that belt over her shoulder? How did that feel?
It's something that I've envisioned for a very long time, and you know, you need to think about this. I sold Amy the dream when I was a nobody and I had nothing, and I said to her, one day I'm going to take you out your work, one day you're not going to need to work, and one day I'm going to make it big time, and I'm going to become the world champion, I'm going to be the best in the world. And she had no right to believe. She came to my fights when I was fighting in Scotland and stuff. She seen I was good, but she had no right to, I don't know how to say it, believe in that. But she did. She always did, and she always stuck by me. And so all these, I sold her the dream. So me saying this for all these years, for me to finally, I was proud of myself, because like, I told you I would do this. And it's not like she said I wouldn't, because that was never the case. But I was just more relieved, because I stuck to my word. I made something happen that I said I was always going to do. And putting that belt over her shoulders was all of that. It was like a circle moment. Yeah. I said I would do this. Here we are. That day that we always dreamed of was that day.
Yeah. Magic. Absolutely, man. As you said, it's been a fishing for so long, and you just rounded it off doing the things that you said you were going to do, but to the most maximum amount. What about JP when you put it over his shoulder?
Much the same kind of feelings. As much the same feelings, but obviously with JP, he's been there in the gym every step of the way. When I was younger, Amy wasn't at all the training sessions, but she was at all the fights. She's never missed a fight in my professional career since I was 15-year-old, never. So she's seen everything, but she's not seen the nitty gritty in the gym. Now she's a massive part of camp. She makes every training session now. That obviously it got a bit more serious, but JP's been there from the very start, seen everything, seen the lows, the injuries, the downfalls. He's been in the corner when I've been beat. His heart's been ripped out from the losses and stuff as well. So that was just another amazing moment, because me and JP, we're only 2 years apart. We were very young. We got criticised a lot when we were younger. They're too young, they're too loud, they're too cocky, and we just stuck to our guns, and we were just authentic the full time. Yeah, maybe a bit boisterous when we were younger, we would have to admit, but at a young age we said we were going to do this, we're going to take this guy out, we're going to take this guy out, and people watching it are just like, who are these two little guys who are walking around like their shit don't stink? You know what I mean? Who are these two? They're two young guys. They're going to get smacked in the mouth, and realness is going to come to them. But in all honesty, we shut everybody up, and we made all the haters fans along the way. And so we've been together through that full journey. So it was another amazing moment. What did I do? I think I put it on Amy's shoulders first, then on JP's. Yeah. So,
which is exactly as you said you would.
And then obviously bringing it back to Bangtao, I would have loved to have brought it back to Scotland, but just timing, and that was the dream. Bring it back onto Scottish soil. I actually had visions that I was going to run the mountains with it on my shoulder and that. But if you feel how heavy this thing is, that would be like a Cam Haines carrying the boulder. That's how heavy that thing is.
No joke, man.
I will bring it back to Scottish soil, but just the way life is right now, I'm still in Thailand.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk to me about that though. Your team at Bangtao, obviously what was that like bringing it back to the gym? I've seen some of the videos, like obviously everybody's there, everybody's wanting to come over and congratulate you, but what's that been like since you've moved out and you've now got this team there?
It's amazing. I've been obviously here for like 7-8 months now, but I've done 4 camps before that here. So throughout all the fight camps, I've been getting closer and creating better relationships with people, to the point now that they're all a very close part of my team. You know what I mean? It's everybody helps me now at Bangtao. So again, it's just an amazing moment. Like they were there with the Nabil one, you know what I mean? So they all felt the loss, and we all thought we were going to do it. We all thought we were going to do it until obviously the weight cut came, and we realised at that point that this isn't looking good. But this time everything was looking good. No injuries, bigger, better, faster, stronger, mentally happy. And then it was just a fairy tale it was meant to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, they were all over the moon for that. As I was.
Yeah. Do you feel like, I mean, you've said this a couple of times that it made it sweeter, obviously having the path to the top, but it's not all the way up. You've had your ups, downs, and obviously the loss in the BO. Do you think that made this sweeter and more powerful now you've won the belt?
100%. And not only for me, but I think for anybody going through any hardship in life, it's not going to go your way first time all the time. So it's a good story for people who are struggling, things aren't going their way. It gives them a bit of hope. It gives them a carrot. Oh, this didn't work out for him, and you know, because you get the people at Ilia Topuria and everything's just amazing, and you're the best. But I think it's very powerful and poetic when it's not like that. It's very, very, very good, and then there's a big poof, and then you need to restart and do all that again. So I think it's powerful for other people to see that no matter, like I said in the interview, no matter how many times you fall, just always get back up, and as long as you never quit, then really you're never going to fail.
Absolutely, man. I loved it. I've got it right here, what you said in the interview, because it's powerful, man, and it summarises everything you said there. You said, dreams come true. It doesn't matter if you fail, as long as you never quit and you chase your dreams with a relentless effort and attitude. And that's exactly what you've done.
That's all I've done. And the bad times, I've still, you know, I had a moment where I felt sorry for myself. We'll need to have that, but you know, you put a time scale on it, and you must move on. It's the same with this. Like, I was the champion of the world, and I was sulking in it for a time scale. Now it's on to the next thing. So it's the same with good and bad. Like with your highs, but with your lows low. You can't stay in it for too long. You need to keep moving forward.
Yeah. It's the perfect example as well, as you said. I think anybody that watches you train, that's seen your videos or whatever, just knows you personally. They know how hard you train. You're known for that. You're known for like your hard hitting, the effort you put in, and then obviously you've now, like, the public have seen it, and you've always been really good at being authentic, man, and just being like, I remember when we spoke about it, and you obviously shared how fucking terrible it felt after that Nabil loss, but it's that level of authenticity that shows anybody. It doesn't matter if it's in Muay Thai, any aspect of their life where they're going through a low. It's like, I can fucking do this.
You know that podcast you put me onto, the 16. See that, right? It talks about you're still, it's something like you're still grieving, or you're not over something unless you're willing to talk about it. I felt that with a few different experiences in my life, but it's very true. When you're very open and authentic and about something bad that's happened to you, that is a way of showing that you're also okay with it and you're ready to move on from it. But if there's a way that you're hiding it, you don't want people to know, it's because deep down you're not all right with it and you're still holding on to it. Like we spoke in the last podcast, holding grudge, what it does to your heart, is the same with that.
Yeah, it's just a true strength, man. It's like, see, when we think of guys like yourself, that's why I was, honestly, man, I was surprised. The way that you spoke out, I was like, this guy has some fucking balls, man. He has courage, which you would look at, and most people you'd think they would, but most fighters don't. Most people aren't able to speak about their hardships like that. And what we realise is that true strength is in being vulnerable,
100%,
and being open about these things and talking about it. And that's what I think why people can connect to you more than any other fighter. You're Ilia Topuria, right? Great fighter. I'm sure he's an amazing guy, but having that sense to be able to tell people, listen, this is how I felt multiple times in my life, and I've had to pick myself up.
Because people look at fighters like they're superheroes. Yes, they can fight, they're tough people, they're badasses, but they're still humans, and they still feel all the same feelings that any person feels, whether that be emotion of loss or failure, or even not wanting to get up in the morning to train, feeling late, whatever it is, we all feel the same things. So when fighters at a high level are authentic and speak about that, it resonates with, let's say, the normal person, the person who isn't a fighter. Like when Goggins even talks about, he gets up in the morning and he stares at his shoes for 30 minutes before he gets out the door. People are like, I feel like that. And then they resonate with it and they say, it's all right to feel these way, but we still must go through the reaction.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think it's they see the whole thing with courage. Like, people look at you and think, well, like, that's the fucking pinnacle of courage. They think you don't feel fear and you don't get worried and you don't get nervous, but the actual fact is you feel all of these things
all the time, too much, too often, actually.
Exactly. But you act regardless of them. That's courage.
Aye.
Courage is when you feel like you want to do everything else bar this thing, but you push through it. You're disciplined and you have the strength to push through it, which you've done so many times.
Aye, that standing behind the curtains is that exactly, and doing it anyway. But you know, no matter how you feel and how scared you are, you know that on the other side of it is where all the growth is and all the goodness. But honestly, I've stood behind the curtains many a times, and not every time, I'm getting better at it now. But even in my ONE Championship fights, I've stood behind the curtains and thought, see if a fire alarm went off right now and this full stadium had to empty and this fight got cancelled, I think I'd be alright with that. Like, I've had the thoughts, and look, I'm telling you, I think like that, but you know that it's not going to happen, and you're just, and no matter what, you're going to go through with it anyway. It's the same thing we spoke about in the last podcast, where I was saying I have these thoughts, but I keep, like, it's alright because I know that I'm going to do it anyway. Exactly. So the same thing. JP had a funny thought. I don't know if you've seen our little thing on the Bangtail page. It's the same thing. So when he was younger, so I used to fight in Lagoon, Paisley, right? And anytime we were there, he used to fight there when he was a junior as well. We'd walk to the bus stop outside the Lagoon, and he always tells me this funny story. He was fighting in the town hall next to the Lagoon, and he was in the back warming up. He must have been like 12 or 13, and there was junkies outside at the bus stop, and he could see them outside, and he tells me a story every time we walk by it, and he says in that moment how nervous and scared he was to fight. He says that he would have rather trade places and lives with the junkies that were sitting smacked at their heads at the bus stop. And I think that's hilarious, because people don't know that the fighters, like, at that moment, like, it's a scary thing you're going to do.
Aye.
And doing it anyway is exactly the topic we're on. Is very brave. It is a very brave thing to do. And I take my hat off to anybody that steps over the ropes at any level, because you're doing what a lot of people in the world aren't doing, willing to do. Because you're stepping through the ropes ready to either get better, whatever, or get ridiculed. Yeah. There's no in between, it's one or the other.
Absolutely.
In this world we live in, everybody's got something to say.
Yeah, it is. It's courage personified, man. That's such a funny fucking story, though.
Hilarious, isn't it?
Because it's bringing it back to, like, these guys, like your level, like JP when he's fought and everything like that. Like, if there's these thoughts, whereas we get stuck up in our own heads thinking, oh, I'm worried, I'm scared. My opponent doesn't feel that way. Of course they do.
Absolutely.
They feel the exact same.
I've been good at bringing it to that as well. Like, when we're warming up and stuff, it's like, however I'm feeling, these guys know how hard I train. Like, my opponents, they know how hard I train. However I'm feeling right now, he must be feeling this or must be feeling worse. I never used to feel like that, but now at this stage and stuff, like, I do think like that now, and it definitely, I wouldn't say it helps, but when you're behind, like, warming up for a fight, you'll say anything to yourself to make yourself feel better. Anyway, so that's one of them.
How did you feel this last one? Obviously going out for the belt, did you feel more worried than normal, less worried than normal when you were right before you walked out? How did you feel?
I don't even remember. I don't remember exactly at the curtains. And the curtains always feel the same. It's like, this is the last moment. You're just like, punching walls and shit, right? Because it's in ONE Championship, it's like a wee tunnel you walk through, and it's like the corner team always needs to put their torches on because it's completely blacked out. Like, you can't see a thing. So that's just your moment to, whatever you're thinking, just get it out now, because there's no turning back. That is your no return point right there. Warming up though, I just think I was nervous, peaks and troughs. Sometimes I was alright, sometimes I was a wee bit nervous. Nothing any more than any other fight, nothing any less than any other fight. It was just baseline.
Yeah.
But I knew that the work had been done. I was very confident. I was extremely confident, so I was, like, in the back, and I was just locked in on what I had to do.
Which, again, where does that confidence come from? Not from just pure delusion. It comes from the work, the effort you put in.
Always.
In the training camp. Talk to me about that training camp. I've seen some of the videos that you put it. I think it was your story maybe yesterday, the day before. Like, you guys literally drilled the knockdown. Like, when you caught the kick, and like you drilled that, you went through this. Talk to me about the preparation, your team, how all that was for this fight.
Yeah, we got a bit more, like, purposeful in this fight. So, like, I've been bad for overtraining and, like, sparring in the morning, then training again, or like hitting pads before I spar and not getting the best out of my spars for this. And in this fight camp, we made it very specific. So, like, days that I was sparring, even if it was 4 rounds, like 15 minutes of work, that was all I would do that day. I wouldn't do anything else to get the absolute most out of the things that mattered the most, which is sparring and things like that. So I feel like that helped massively. And then, so 2 weeks into camp, we changed the time that we trained at, because I was fighting in the morning. So for the first 2 weeks, it was like non-negotiable, train twice a day, doesn't matter how you feel, just get a head start. And then we changed everything. We were really specific, right? You're fighting at this time, you're going to train at this time. You're always going to do Muay Thai at this time. So I always do S&C in the morning, Muay Thai at night. And we changed it to, right, we're going to do Muay Thai at this time in the morning, and you can do your S&C in the afternoon instead, because that's the time you're fighting at, obviously. And then it was days that you're sparring, you're not doing anything before it. If you want to, you can do something after it, but the most important thing is you do nothing before you spar. And then as it got closer to the fight, just loads of drilling, loads of going over the things that, because JP always breaks it down like, what is the opponent really good at, right? That's what everybody looks at. What are they good at? So he looks at the patterns that he's done when he's won fights, and he'll look at the patterns that have occurred when he's lost fights, and you kind of just put them two together. What he's going to do when things are going well, what he seems to do, drop his guard, leave his chin high in the air, etc., when you put the pressure on him. And it was just exploiting that, really.
Yeah. What was it like having the differences? Like, because you had some fucking icons that you were working with. Dieselnoy, is that
Dieselnoy, yeah.
So what was that like?
Brilliant. Jodvica had beat Shadow before in RWS. So he was like, he knows exactly, and by the way, he said to me, he said, you know how Thais normally start slow and they gain, like they get stronger? He says Shadow starts strong and fades, and funnily enough, round 3 he faded, didn't he? So he knew him very well. It showed me a few good things in the clinch, like instead of tiring myself out in the clinch, was just spoiling it, just putting arms down and dropping my weight. And you see me do this a few times when we went into the clinch. Shadow didn't want to clinch either, to be fair. It's not that I don't want to clinch, it was just that I know where I'm going to knock you out. It's not going to be in the clinch, is it? It's going to be outside the clinch. So he was just showing me loads of good stuff, and I don't know, it was just, I felt really safe when I was training with Jodvica, which is a weird thing to say. I don't know, there was just this comfort, like, no comfort, like, you know, you obviously need to live outside your comfort zone, but there was this comfort that came with training with him, like this confidence that oozed out me. Trust is a word. Yes.
Yeah, it seems like, again, I've only ever seen the videos, but seen you drilling, literally, that
So obviously as the fight got closer, all the hard work is done. I wasn't going to get any fitter, stronger, faster the week before the fight. So every single day we went in and done 5 rounds or 6 rounds like that. He would sometimes go a bit harder, so it was like sparring, but like controlled sparring, or it would just be drilling the same shot for 3 minutes, stop, 3 minutes, stop. And it was, have you seen the shakeout video of me and JP? It's the exact same thing. Throws the left kick.
Yes, yep.
Jodvica a week before the fight. It's the same thing. I'm just doing the same things. What does Shadow do? He's on the back foot, likes to kick. On the front foot, likes to kick. We knew that, and it was like, how do we exploit that then? And that's just obviously a little piece of it.
Yeah. Did you get a lot of confidence? Obviously, you felt really confident going into the fight because of the preparation. Did you get confident going into the fight? Was he what you expected? Were you when he started throwing them, like, right, okay, we've drilled for this, we know what's coming?
So the first low kick, because we knew what the game plan was, because in my last fight I didn't defend the low kick very well, which we can speak about as well. I broke my toe in the last fight camp. We can touch on that after this. But so we knew, and the thing is with Thais is they're not very clever. They kind of, like, whenever media teams and stuff come to them, they just speak honestly into the mic. This is what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try puncture the leg of Nico. So like we knew he was going to try to do that anyway because of the last fight. Everybody seems to think I've got a weak leg now, when obviously, you know, people don't see what happens in the surface level, they just see. So, but we knew that he was coming to try low kick me, and we also knew that when my defence is super good and it's not there, he's going to give up on it very fast. In the first round, he came and tried to tag my leg, and it was never there. I was very surprised at how slow he threw it, and I could just see it coming in slow motion every single time, just because of how hyper prepared I was on what he was going to do. And so he came and threw the low kick, and it was never there, and from there I seen everything coming, really.
Yeah, amazing. Talk to us about that previous fight. You said you broke your toe. Was that in preparation for it?
That was a Lessei one.
Yeah.
So I broke my toe on my left leg, my left foot. On the lead up, it was about 3 weeks before the fight, and so this was like the point where you're trying to drill and do all the stuff that's really going to stick in the fight all the time, and I couldn't spar at all. So I was just doing like drilling, but people were wearing like full pads. I tried to do like one, and even when I done that, see when my toe would like touch like their foot, the person in front of me, when my toe would touch their foot, there's a few times that I was just down rolling about crazy, like this smallest little bit of contact to it. And because my toe was broke or whatever it was, it's completely deformed now, so it is, but it's fine now. But the way it was is I was really flat-footed in the fight camp. I couldn't really bounce it because when I was bouncing it was hurting me. And when I went into the Lessei fight, I was so flat-footed that it chopped on the calf pretty quick, and it was just the bad habit carried through into the fight, which is what it is. You live and you learn and you adapt.
Exactly.
You adapt and you still come out with the win. You never give up anyway, and that's it.
Absolutely, and then you overwhelmed them.
Yeah, exactly.
And it was
after the first few low kicks, it was an easy fight.
How did he feel? So obviously technically he looks fantastic. I'm sure he's great, but how did that feel fighting him?
It was just annoying, really. It was just like he was trying to fight a fly. Like they're not there. Like he was just running. I don't know. It's like a 400-meter track. Maybe he would have done like 2 full laps of it. You know what I mean? He didn't want to fight me. He wanted to tag the leg and run away. And then once I changed stance and dropped, he was always running away. It's difficult to fight somebody that doesn't want to fight you.
Yeah.
So that's all I've got to say about that.
I bet, but then again, you got it. How was it? I mean, I remember seeing in this in the shadow fight, you got him with the exact same. Like I remember you got him with a front kick to the face. You kept pushing forward, but you done the exact same shadow. That was a topper. That.
And the thing that you must give Shadow absolute total credit for is I broke his jaw in the second round. So if you can think of all the shots that accumulated after that second round, round 3, 4, 5, the amount of shots I hit him clean, including that push kick to the jaw, he had a broken jaw the full time.
What shot was it that done that?
Don't actually know, you know.
Yeah, because I remember hearing in an interview after it when the guy said you broke his jaw and you thought it was
2 places, and he's still wearing a full mouth retainer thing to keep his jaw wired shut.
That's nuts. I wonder what shot that was, because I think you'd fought him, which everybody would have fought, because you had him so clean with that shot that decked him.
I thought it was that. But when I've actually watched the fight back and realised, like, you can see this swelling in his face from round 3, like each round is, and then right in round 5 when I was just putting this smackdown on him, he spat out this, like, you know, like in the movies when they're shot in the belly and they spit out blood, and it's just like the biggest. It was like that came out of his mouth, and I was like, "Oh, you nasty."
Did you see that? Was that during the? Was it or was it when he was going in his corner?
No, it was during the fight. So like the referee broke it up, and he kind of just spat, and it was like the biggest, reddest pile of blood, and I was like, "Oh, that doesn't look good." It's like, see, like you break your nose or something, and it's like just profusely bleeds like
uncontrollable.
Aye, it was like that came out of his mouth, and I was like, "Oof."
Yeah, that's nuts. With it being the obviously. You far superseded him in the 4th and the 5th. Does that give you confidence now, knowing, you know, I can do these 5 rounders comfortably?
I always knew I could, but that was another reason I was happy I done it, because it backs up the things that I say. The thing you spoke about in the last podcast, that you look in the mirror and you are what you say, it's the same thing. I say I'm the hardest worker, I say I've got the biggest engine, and then when you put it to fruition, it's just after it, it's just like, told myself so again.
Yeah.
That's it. I told myself so again. That's it. And that's it. I'm proud of myself for just knowing that I can do these things and proving it to myself.
Yeah, it's powerful. One of the things I want to touch on is also we've got this big shiny bastard belt in front of us, the heaviest thing I've ever felt in my life. You had said after it, you said, this is more than just gold. This is more than just the one championship belt. This is all my efforts throughout my life. Does this symbolise for you, like, all of the difficult moments, all of the times when you've had to push through? Is this a symbol of your hard work?
Absolutely. It's more that than what everybody sees. To me, this is a trophy of hardship to me, rather than being champion of the world. This is like a carrot. It's like the dangling carrot. This is what this is to me. Through everything difficult I've went through in my life, injuries, setbacks, losses, financial struggle, it was all for a purpose. This was it. And Aye, just like I said in an interview, it was because it doesn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. None of this happened overnight. I wasn't an overnight superstar. That's not how this happened. It was just years and years and years of just keeping the dream alive. Keep believing when no one else does. Keep believing when you're getting criticised. Keep believing when, you know, people are trying to shut you down. When family members are telling you that you're not choosing the right path, just sit your trade test. Have something to fall back on. Know what I mean? Like, people that you love, know what I mean, telling you what you don't want to hear. That's what this is. Yeah. Keep believing.
Powerful, man. Really powerful. How does it feel now that you've achieved something that you'd pursued for so long? Obviously, as soon as you came in at one championship as well, you're like, I'm going for that belt. Like, you're not here to just fucking participate. You wanted that belt. You've got it now. A lot of people we've seen in the past, when they achieve incredible things, they feel different. How does it feel now that you have ticked that off and you've achieved that belt?
First and foremost, I'm proud that I done what I set out to do. But it is a thing of the past now for me. And this is a toxic and powerful mindset to have. I am proud that I achieved what I said I was going to. But like I said at the start, I'm not going to sulk in it. And I do want to move on, and I want to... What's next? That is the mindset. Never finished.
Yeah. I think obviously Goggins talks about that. It's like, no, it's not about what you done yesterday. What are you doing today? What have you done today? That's it. And
nobody cares what harder.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of people will almost struggle to understand that, in the sense if they look at something like that and, oh, you must have that. You must be happy. That must be you. You must be like, just whatever happens now, it's fine. But obviously it's not how the elite mind works.
But this is how people talk about, like, really rich and famous people who've got like all the Lamborghinis and the women, and when you're doing things for that, you're never going to be truly happy. Doing things, there has to be like it needs to be from within, like you're driving this belief, or I don't know how to say it. It needs to be from within though.
Yeah.
So when you don't have this purpose, then that's how all these like people who are multi-millionaires, they end up committing suicide and stuff, because they don't have this inner something to drive them. You know what I mean? And this is why my mindset is what's next. And this is why I know that I'll never fall off, and I'll never be that guy, because I don't do this for the glory or the fame, I do it because of my self-pride. I do it because, like, I said I was going to do this, I done it, it made me feel so good, let's do it again. There's this like inner drive. Yeah. That's what gets me through this. So people chase it for different reasons. I do it solely for me.
For constant improvement.
Aye.
To become better, for sure. You've spoke about before leaving a legacy. Why is that important to you?
You know, just where we come from in Glasgow, it's a rough area. It's a weird place. It's an amazing place, but it's bizarre. It's a place where I feel like the culture and the people are different from other parts of the world. I feel like we kind of don't get behind our own people and support our own people. And, you know, if for those who do support, there's not a lot of amazing fighters that come out of the small country of Scotland. And so for me, leaving a legacy for Scotland, I'm saying Scotland, obviously the world, but from where I came from, is to help the next generation. Because where we come from is, I don't know, it's a very weird place where I don't know how to explain it.
People are close-minded.
People are close-minded where we come from. Number one, definitely, and it's there's just like a certain way that you need to live when you're from Glasgow in Scotland, and there's no other way. There's no branch out. Whereas like in America, it's like they go through wrestling schools. There's so many avenues to be successful and be self-disciplined and be great at life. But in Scotland, there's no. Yeah. And so for me, leaving a legacy is like, right, I came from where you come from. I done the exact same things you done when I was younger. Look at me. Do it. Everybody can do it. So that's it. I should have just said that at the start instead of rambling on, but that's what I was trying to get out.
We have to get there, mate. You got there. What it is? I mean, you're setting that perfect example. You're only what, 27, and you're
Feels old when you say that.
aye, but no, that's what I'm saying. It's so young, and you've acquired a belt at 27 years of age. I spoke to you about this before. It's nuts that, like Nongo, for example, who you fought, a veteran in the sport, one of the best Thai fighters, at 14 years old, he was fighting in stadiums in Bangkok. Mate, you were kind of about schemes in Glasgow. Like, you hadn't even started training Muay Thai yet.
15? What you know? 30?
He's getting on now, like.
He's getting on now.
Yeah.
Like, I might have been a child, actually.
Yeah.
I might have not even fucking...
I know.
I might have not even been walking, man, but it's crazy. These are the kind of people that I've looked up to all my life, and now it's just...
Yeah. Living the dream.
They're just on my hit list.
Yeah, that's it. They'll be ticked off, or they're going to be ticked off for sure. Some of the things I want to go through today, mate, we've got obviously getting from where you are, and we'll continue to go through that, and people probably heard your story before, but we'll delve into a bit more. I want to highlight some of the lessons, some of the points that for you have just been game changing, that have made you into the person you are today, because to achieve something like this, which is sat in front of us, which for me is fucking nuts to see this, it takes not just a certain type of person physically, but a certain type of person mentally. And I want to share some of these lessons that obviously me and you have spoke about, to those people that you want to build a legacy for the people that are listening to this, who are inspired by you, and they want to learn what it takes to build a life like this, whatever their endeavour is. All of the lessons that you've learned can carry over to it. So one of the first ones, you speak about training a lot, about suffering training so you can thrive in competition.
Yes. So, and I get asked questions. I do a lot of seminars and stuff, and I always get asked questions. And for me, and we spoke about it in the last podcast as well. I keep saying this. We touched on a lot in the last podcast, actually. But when it comes to a fight, right, and something new comes up, something that you've never felt before, you're more than likely going to take the path of least resistance, which is throwing the towel in and quitting, right? You have a body shot you've never been hit with before. It's a new feeling. You don't know how to react to a new feeling. You get your leg chopped off. You've never had this in sparring. You've never had it in a fight. You've never felt this pain when you're running. It's a new feeling. More than likely, your brain's a hypochondriac. It tries to protect you. It tries to save you. It's going to send a signal for you to get out of there. That is just layman's term what the body does. It tries to protect you. So when you get hit with something that you've never been hit with before, that's what's going to happen. You're going to quit. So it's important that we suffer in training, so that, and it's cliche, so that when you fight, I'm not going to say it's easy, but they say train hard, fight easy, right? The meaning of that is you must suffer in training. Like, I mean, suffer. Fight camps aren't meant to be easy. You're meant to torture yourself, feel all kinds of pain, everything that you could possibly think of that is horrible. You must do it in a fight camp, so that when anything comes up in a fight, you've been there before. Boom, something happens. Okay, roger that. Felt this before. Boop, roger that. Oh, I remember that day in training camp. Okay, back there again. Got through that, didn't I? Boom, something else happened. Oh, here we are again. It's not, shit, I've never felt this, down I go. It's, okay, I got through it once or twice. And if you're me, you should be going through it a lot. And it's, I got through it the days, I'm going to get through it on the biggest day, competition day. And that's it.
Huge. Back in the hill, as you said.
Back on the hill, back on the hill, on the hill reps. Same thing.
Yeah. Where do you think you got that mentality from? Was it just from literally Muay Thai training and experience of, holy shit, the more I suffer in training, the better I do in fights, because I've seen these things happen, I know what to expect. Where did that come from?
I'm not going to say it just came from Muay Thai. I mean, obviously Muay Thai helped, and being the more fighting I got, because from a young age I wanted to be the best. I had this massive ego when I was young. I don't want to get beat, so that was always, and I was always very highly competitive in school and stuff. So that was maybe something that has been built into me. Very competitive and not wanting to lose. That I can admit. I've always been like that. But it was Goggins, man. It was Goggins. I started listening to Goggins, and it just changed the way I thought. It changed the way I think. Changed the way I look at things. And I just started putting his words into practice. And through that, is where you gain the confidence and you gain everything else, the growth.
Yeah.
Doing the stuff.
Suffer first thing in the morning. Why?
So for me, I'm not the same person if I don't train. Training is my therapy. Training is my everything. If I don't train first thing in the morning, I ain't having a good day. That's just me. I train first thing in the morning. There's no better way to start your day than suffering. And through that, you come out the other side very happy, glad that you've done something hard, even if you didn't want to. And also from that, the mental clarity you get after training, something that I speak about a lot. If it was a drug, you know what I mean? See if you could get that mental clarity and that little feeling you get 1 hour post-workout in the morning. See if pharmaceuticals sold that as a drug, they would run out of it within a day, because everybody would be chasing that feeling. And you know, people just aren't willing to put in a bit of graft to get that feeling. But I understand that feeling. I know that feeling, and it doesn't come before. It comes after. You must do the work first and to get that feeling, and then comes the mental clarity. Then comes the endorphins, and it's just like nothing else you can experience. It's amazing, and that's why from there the day gradually gets better. And you know something else, when I train hard in the morning, no matter what happens in the day, nothing can really stress me out. Stress is at a very low point. Something that would maybe stress you out comes to me and they say it, I'm like, all right, cool. I've already left everything in that session. Anger, stress, frustration. However I woke up that day, it was all left there, and I've done something extremely hard. So now whatever comes my way through the day, I'm pretty chill and mellow about it. And that comes from suffering first thing in the morning.
Perfect. Goggins talks about obviously armour in the mind, and that's exactly what you're doing. You're literally preparing yourself for that day ahead. What would you say to people who are listening who are like, you know, it sounds good training in the morning, yeah, I would feel better for it, but I'm not a morning person, whatever bullshit them telling themselves, like, what would you say to them?
Nobody's a morning person. Nobody's a morning person. You think you just woke up one day at 6 in the morning and goes, oh, this is brilliant, I'm just going to... You wake up at 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning, the first 2 days is easy. After day 3 or 4, you're tired. You know what I mean? Nobody is a morning person. It's just how you create habits for yourself. You know what I mean? Like, once you create this habit, things become easier. That's it, in layman's term. That's it. There's nothing more to it. Exactly. Nobody's a morning person. You force yourself to be one. And eventually, because you force yourself to do it so many times, it becomes part of your habit and part of what you do.
Yeah.
And that's for anything in life. Training, this habit, fasting, whatever it is, it might start the day 1 or 2 easy because you're all excited about it. But then day 3, day 4, day 5, week 1, week 2, it becomes a slog. But through discipline, you keep doing it, and then eventually it just becomes part of what you do, to the point if you don't do it, it's bizarre, it feels strange, you should be doing it.
For sure.
That's how good habits are created.
Yep. To act as the man to become the man. It's like, you want to be the type of guy who gets up early? Guess what? You have to get up early.
Exactly.
To get used to it. It's exactly the same, man. I'm the same. It's like, I never used to consider myself a morning bit, which is bullshit. Just fucking people bracketing themselves as that until you do the thing and you become the man who is. And that's it. It's a brilliant point.
So I would say I'm a morning person. I still need to set an alarm. I still snooze it once or twice. You know what I mean? If I was a morning person, I'd just be up like that. Woo, let's go. You know what I mean? But that's not how it is.
Doesn't happen.
Know what I mean?
No. As I said this earlier, your training philosophy, you're known for training really fucking hard. Like, absolutely. Like, you look at somebody, I don't know, like Liam Harrison as well, doesn't half-arse in the pads, goes for it. Like, you're up there as well. You're known for training so hard. I even look at it from podcasts of one that we've done, other videos you've done. People are always commenting how hard you work, and you're one of the hardest working fighters and everything. You have this phrase that you like to use, train insane or remain the same. Why?
I don't think it needs more explaining than what the term is, but I've been saying this since I was young, and it goes to show that there was I done an interview for one of my fights when I was like 18, and I wasn't so good on cameras then, and I was smiling, I was all embarrassed, and he just asked me to say something, and I said, train insane or remain the same. So even back then, it's something that, you know, as the older I've got, I understand just life more, but even back then it was like, if it was one thing that I still understood back then, before all these big podcasts and Chris Williamson and Goggins, and I didn't know any of these guys when I was that age. Before everybody knows about these guys, I still had that philosophy that you must train hard, insane, or you'll stay where you are. Train insane or remain the same. That's it. I've even had that philosophy since I was young.
Do you think that's been one of the things that separated you, your intensity when you train? Obviously, that helped by the fact that you do love it. You love the sport, but not every day you love the sport, but you still keep that mentality of training that way. Do you think that's kind of separated you?
Definitely. Yeah, just doing what others are not doing what others are not willing to do. I think it's separated me, no matter how I feel. And I'll always stick to a plan rather than my mood. You know what I mean? A lot of people let their mood dictate what they do. You know, if I have a plan set out for the week, no matter how I feel. And you know what? It's even if I stall on the plan an hour or two, say I'm going to get out a run, I'll be honest, sometimes I'll say I'm going to get a run at 6 in the morning, and I'll get up at 6 and I'll go, I'm going to take the dog out first. When I come home, I'll go out a run. So it's like, I might stall on the plan, but I stick to it.
Yeah. It's like Goggins looking at the shoelaces. You still do it, but you're human like everybody else, for sure. One of the things you spoke about, obviously, summarises a lot of what's happened in the past. Fall forward, fail forward, all these. Why that?
Yeah, I seen Denzel Washington do like he gave this speech at like a high school. What is it when they
a reunion
when they get their diploma, whatever you call it, right? And he does this speech and he's talking about fall forward and all this training same or remain the same. I'll take kudos for that. I think I came up with that. Sure. But a lot of the stuff I say is just passed down knowledge from other people that I've stole and I now say it.
Of course.
But that's just how it goes. So it's just things that have stuck with me and they resonate with me. And so this one for me was when I was an electrician, and you know, being an electrician didn't make me very happy. And the only thing that I loved was Muay Thai and training. And the one thing that I hated being an electrician was taking the fun out of my Muay Thai. Because I'd train in the morning, then I'd work for 8 hours a day, then I'd train again at night. But by the time it got to night time, I was tired, I was fatigued because of the one thing I didn't want to do anyway. And so I always remember Denzel Washington saying, fall forward, like don't worry about falling back on anything. And for me, when I then quit my job, everybody kept saying to me, just sit your trade test, because I was like a few weeks away from sitting it. I was like, just sit your trade test, have something to fall back on. And my mindset then was, but why would I want something to fall back on? Why that shouldn't be your mindset if you're pursuing something 100% all in. Because my mindset, and it always has been, the vision when I left was, I'm going to pursue this and chase it with a relentless effort all the way. And no matter when, I will get there. Don't know if I'll get there next year, in 10 years, or whatever, but I will get there. And I only had plan A. I never had a plan B. My plan B wasn't to, all right, maybe if I get injured along the way, I'll have an electrical. That was never it. Because if you have something to fall back on, your mind is already taking you off course, the thing you want to pursue. You can't have, what's the phrase? But eggs in baskets, what is it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Two different targets,
That's it. You need to have all your eggs in one basket. You know what I mean? You can't be split. Yeah. That takes you off plan A, and plan A is what you're trying to pursue. So my plan A was become a world champion, be the best at Muay Thai, get financial freedom through this, not something I have to fall back on.
Yes, it's such a great explanation. I think whoever's listening and whatever you are pursuing in life, whatever your endeavour is, that whole mentality, this is an elite mentality. Yes, if you're a normal person, have a plan B or whatever, but if you genuinely want to make something happen, you can't have a plan B. It's
an elite mentality, but believe me, I wasn't an elite person when I had this mentality. I was just like every other single person, just with a goal in their mind, a dream. That's because that's all it was a dream. And that's when I was feeding Amy the dream. Because I worked for her dad, and it was like, right, I'm going to stop working for your dad. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to do Muay Thai the full time. And not once was she ever the person that said, oh, just fall back on it. And she was just always like, do it.
Wow.
You know what I mean? My mother-in-law was very guilty of, oh, you should just sit your trade test. I actually said it in my wedding speech. No, I mean, my wedding speech, I was just came off my 50k bonus from City Chai, went in, got married, and I said in my speech, I was like that to, well, her name's Jane. I was like, oh, you still want me to sit my trade test? You still want me to fall back on something? So that was funny. What did I touch on there before that?
Just the point of like you didn't used to have that elite mentality.
Aye, so I didn't always have that elite mentality, but what I did have was just this vision.
Mm-hmm.
And this vision was strong. And you know who else had the vision? JP. JP had the vision as well. We were both young guys, didn't know what to do or where the world was going to take us. Mm-hmm. But it was him that persuaded me. Yeah. Well, not persuaded me, but it was him that gave me comfort in doing it. He was like, mate, do it. Fuck being an electrician.
Aye.
Know what I mean? And so, like I said, I didn't have this elite mentality. You know what I mean? I was just normal, but I had this vision that was enough to pursue this.
Yeah. Good example as well of how whatever we achieve in life will be directly impacted by the people around us. You had also Amy there for support, JP as well. How impactful was he in those early stages, like telling you, like, you know what, like, fuck being an electrician, go for it? How impactful was that in making you make that decision, like, right, do you know what, I'm going to do this?
Very. He was, I don't know if I would have quit if it wasn't for him. You know what I mean? Because quitting takes big cojones. You know what I mean? It's a new chapter of your life. You're leaving your however much you're getting paid a week. You might not be getting paid at all, fight to fight. And even back then, I was getting like £500 a fight. Do you know what I mean? It was not a lot of money. So he's like, mate, we're going to make this work. It was like, it wasn't what if or they kind of maybes or buts. It was, we are going to make this work. And he was like, mate, I'm going to walk into gyms. I'm going to ask them to sponsor you. And he did. He walked into Commando, X-Fit. And Ross, now one of my best friends, my S&C coach, that came through that. Bro, JP just walked into his gym. I've got this young guy. He's worked harder than anybody. Could you be his S&C coach? And Ross was like, aye, I'll take a chance and look at it now. Do you know what I mean? So that just goes to show, like, I've never actually thought it like that. It was just the first time I said it out loud, but that is how that came.
That's it. These opportunities open up by the people you have in your corner now, people you have around you. That's nuts, mate. One of the other things you've said is the destination is great, but it's the journey that makes us, obviously, having the big shiny belt there in front of us is good to look at, but how important was the journey, the highs, the lows, the whole process?
Yeah, so many people, and it's important. You need to have the end goal. That's super important. You know what I mean? Without the end goal, there's no purpose, there's no fire, there's no nothing. The end goal is important, but the end goal isn't what defines us, because it's not my end goal, but it was a goal, and nothing's changed. Do you know what I mean? So, but what is important is everything that happened on the lead up to this. Because what has happened since I won this, really, in my life? Nothing's changed. I've got a shiny belt now. Look great on a podcast. Brilliant. What has changed? Nothing in my life has changed. Everything on the lead up to this. That's how you know who Nico Carrillo is. That's how you know who the King of the North is. Not because of this. Everything on the lead up. And it's important that we appreciate the journey. You know, the saying that I love, the man who loves walking will get further than the man who loves the destination. That's because he appreciates the journey. You know what I mean? If it wasn't for the journey, wasn't for the losses, it wasn't for the hardship, wasn't for the highs, wasn't for the lows, I wouldn't be the person I am today. That is where all the growth is. That's where you learn everything about yourself. And so on.
Yeah. In terms of being a fighter and performing to your best, you said a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter.
Yes.
Why?
So, I didn't realise it at the time, but all my knockouts on one at the lower weight, I resonated fight camps with cutting weight, and it took the fun out of fighting for me for about 2 years in my career. I hated it. I liked training, and I liked the first 2 weeks of camp, but as soon as I had to start dieting for 4, 5, 6 weeks, I hated it. And that's what's also made me so resilient as well, because I still went through and done all the fight camps and done it, but it was torture. I was eating such little calories. I was underperforming. I was underfueled for weeks and weeks at a time fighting at the highest level, and it made me fall out with Muay Thai. Don't get me wrong, the fights, when you win, you're like, oh, I'm ready to do it all over again. All the last 6-7 weeks of absolute hell, just in 1 second of getting your hand raised, forgotten about, ready to do it again. It's crazy. That's the weird thing about being a fighter. It's that high you're chasing, no matter what happens before it. You're always chasing that high. But I hated it. I absolutely hated it. And obviously, it came to me at the worst time when I fought Nabil. But it was when I moved up a bit. I realised in the gym I was eating what I wanted. It was the first time in 2 years that I'd enjoyed training Muay Thai again. I could improve my technique because I didn't have to worry and obsess over scales and getting fit. I naturally got fitter because I wasn't underfueled. Everything that came with moving up a weight, I fell in love with Muay Thai again. I fell in love with training again. And I didn't resonate Muay Thai with cutting weight anymore. I resonated Muay Thai with what I love doing and what I can't live without. And that's why I say a happy fighter is a dangerous fighter. Because you're at your most dangerous when you're feeling good. They fights, I won them all by knockout, but my God, I probably went in 50% at all the fights.
What was some of there's been so many, but what were some of the moments that you remember during some of the darkest cuts that you've been like, fuck, like, yeah, some of the worst kind of moments you can remember?
It's the same thing about Goggins putting his shoes on. Every single day that I left the house so I would train in the morning, they would feel okay getting up and training in the morning. But then when I would go back for a nap and then I would be in the heat all day and I had training again at 4 p.m, every single day for weeks and weeks, and this happened in many fight camps, I would come up with ideas in my head to tell JP why I can't make training. Like I've got this sort of injury or I'm feeling run down. Every single day this happened, I would come up with an excuse in my head that I had to tell JP why I can't make training because I felt so fatigued, so underfueled. I felt tired 24/7 because of how little calories I was on, and I was still training very hard. And this was a thing on repeat every single day. And then it would get to 3:30 and I would be like, right, put your bag on and go. It's that thing. I do it to myself. It's mental torture, but I know I'm going to go out and do it anyway. But yeah, that was 2 years of fight camps I would do that.
And whose decision was it? Was it purely yours? Did you all come to decision together to move up?
So every fight camp, every weight cut got more difficult. And the Nabil one was the nail in the head. We decided in that, so I was sitting way higher, the weight wasn't coming off, it just wouldn't budge. But I was blinded by this. And if that wasn't on the line, I'd have pulled out. I was blinded by that, and my mindset, once I say I'm going to do something, I stick to it, and that's it. And so we got to the weight cut, and I'm 6 kilo above weight one day before the weigh-in, and I'm like 4% body fat. It can't come off me. And so, yeah, it was in that, like, when I was cutting weight, when I knew, like, I'm never doing this again. I actually went into the City Chai fight camp with a wee bit of PTSD. I started that no fight camp weight cut. Only had 3 kilo to lose, and it came off me in an hour and a half, both quick, fast. And before I started, I got this horrible feeling of dread come over me because of my last experience. Took me 9-10 hours of cutting weight. I was in a sauna and running for 9 to 10 hours straight. No fluids, no nothing. Try to get this weight off what looked like a skeleton. So it was then that I realised, we can never. Well, during that fight, kind of during that full process, as the weeks got closer, I was really sticking to the plan. I was doing everything I could. I was still training really hard, and I just wouldn't. The weight just wouldn't come off.
But again, we look back at that, and I'm sure you'll have gratitude for it now, as horrible as that was, because if those weight cuts didn't get as bad as they got, you wouldn't have made the call to jump up. You could have still been, like a contender, but you wouldn't have been sitting here with the belt sitting. So, yeah, obviously horrific. I can only imagine what that felt like.
Awful, but I'm it's bad that it happened to me, but in it happening to me, I can now teach others the dangers of cutting weight and the pros of just sticking to the weight you're meant to fight at. And because I thought I'm the biggest and all that, but it doesn't matter if you're the biggest in the ring. You know, you've cut so much weight that you can't put it back on. You're fighting at a disadvantage anyway. And that was always me. I was like, I'll be the biggest and all that. And then you move up. And so now through my failure, I can now teach other people. Do you know what I mean? So there's always a positive to take out of something.
Always. And you can be that good role model for everybody else. Speaking of role models, the reverse role model, how you suppose that been as a tool to think of, and if you to explain it to people, what's the reverse role model?
Yeah, so everybody knows what a role model is. A role model is like, let's say, having a father. He's your everything. He's the greatest person in the world. He's your hero. You want to be like him when you're older. Everything you do is for him. You know what I mean? You're motivated by your role models. You know what I mean? You know, it's your big cousin, or it's normally a family member, innit? Or it's a sports person when you're young. You know what I mean? I had role models. Somebody you want to be like. Normally, it's a father figure or someone close in your family. For me, I didn't have a father, and I grew up in a bit of a mental household. So the reverse role model is when, instead of wanting to be like what you see in your household, so for me, it wasn't all bad, but it was pretty negative. So for me, instead of wanting to be like that, it's because of what I see, I want to be the exact opposite. So this is what the reverse role model is for me. So I grew up without a father. So right there, I knew that I'd never want to have children and not be in their lives, because I know the impact that has. I grew up with my big sister's boyfriends being abusive, hitting them and stuff. By seeing this negative stuff, it wasn't like, oh, I want to do that now. It was because of the negative stuff I seen, it made me realise that I want to be the exact opposite. When I have a wife or I have a girlfriend, back then I thought, I'm going to treat her like a queen. I'll never lay my finger on a girl. That. So this is what the reverse role model is, and it was that was the way my life was. Aye.
It's a great way to look at it. As again, you said that, like, people look at, well, who should I be like? Who should I be like? Who should you not be like? Because it's easier to find that, unfortunately.
Aye.
We spoke about it in Scotland. Like, it's so easy to look and say, the fucking Jake Paul across the road, I'm like, oh, he's a dick. Like, I don't want to be like him, the way he treats his family or this or that. And some people, of course, you have that in your own house. You have that in those around you.
The unfortunate thing is, where I grew up from, is that people, even if they grew up in the households, the unfortunate thing is that they end up being a product of that environment. So it takes a certain kind of mindset to understand what's right and what's not. And for me, I understood that at a young age through the way I grew up. And even when I was young, scheme fighting and stuff, I kind of reverse role model that as well. So my big cousins and my, you know what I mean, or my older generation were all fighting. And then as I was getting older, I realised that when I was with them, like, they were always on edge and they were always looking over their shoulder. And at a young age, I realised that I don't want to live like that. I don't want to be able to move out my scheme and I'm always looking over my shoulder. So the reverse role model was kind of for everything the way I grew up. I wanted to be the opposite of everything, and that's what's steered me into this. And I'm glad I found Thai boxing, because that helped massively.
Very good. Who did you look up to in Thai boxing? I imagine JP, obviously only been a couple of years older than you. Did he kind of put you on the right path? Who did you look up to at that time?
JP was a massive role model of mine when I first started. And Jordan Co, they were the same age, born on the same day, exact same age. So when I walked into the gym, JP was a fighter, and I remember seeing this boy hit pads, and I was like, Jesus Christ, this guy is, wow, I want to be like this guy. And eventually I started getting to know him, he started training me. Watching him fight was the first ever fight I went to. So JP was a massive role model of mine. Jordan Co was there as well, my friend that passed away. Same thing, massive role model. And out with that, in Scotland, Chris Shawsey, massive role model of mine when I was younger. He was like the best in Scotland at the time. Liam Harrison, obviously. And that's about it for me. Those were people at a young age I took massive inspiration of, and like when I seen them I would be like, oh, I'm so excited.
Did you look at any of the Thais, and maybe not role models, but did you look at them and think they're unbelievable?
Of course, that's why I was role models in the way that these people were. You know what I mean? They're in the country. It's like, if they can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? With the ties, it's a dream, innit? Well, I'd love to be like that one day. And you know what I mean? When back then, it's just a dream, innit? It's like, but just all the people I fought, watched Sexan a lot, watched Nongo a lot. Superborn was actually one of my favourite fighters before I signed to ONE. So,
what's it like when you meet these guys?
At the start, it was cool. Now it's they're enemies. Know what I mean? The people I'm going to fight, there's some of them don't have good things to say about you because obviously they know that they're going to fight you. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, bye.
Yeah. One of the things you've said before, you have to give things up if you want to be the best. It sounds simple, but talk to me about sacrifice, why that's important if you want to be one of the greats.
It starts at a young age, I think. It starts at a young age. Understanding what isn't the easy thing to do, but the right thing to do. So what wasn't easy was when all my pals were going to Hussies and they all have these big events and they're going out and partying and you know you want to be there, you don't want to miss out on it. That's the easy thing to do, is to go and take part and all that. The right thing to do is to step away from it and stay in the gym. And I don't know how, because I didn't have a father figure to point me in the right direction. I just always knew what was right, even at a young age. I knew what was going to steer me towards greatness. And it was being in the gym when they were out. It was running early in the morning before school. It was running early in the morning before going to work when everybody's still in their kip and I'm 16 years old and I'm out logging miles, going to work all day, then go to training after it again. I just always knew that. But you know, there's always a blueprint. There's always a blueprint. So I watched a lot of Floyd Mayweather, I watched a lot of Conor McGregor. So like, I go to seminars and people want to ask me questions. What should I do for self-help? And it's like, you want me to give you an answer that's easy, and that is possibly just to you. You want an answer you've not heard before. That I just say something to you and it's easy and you go and change your life. But you know what the right things to do is, and they're difficult and they're hard. And you want me to say something else. But the truth is, there's a blueprint. There's always been a blueprint. There's always been people that you looked up to. They've all done the same things. They missed the parties. They sacrificed family events. They sacrificed big events, birthdays, Christmases. They're in the gym. You know what the right thing to do is. You just don't want to hear it because it's the right thing to do, but it's difficult.
Absolutely. The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. I remember hearing that in the modern wisdom. Fuck, it's like that's it. It's like all these people come to you. What's to see? What's that? It's like sacrifice. Like be relentless. Like don't take a day off. See all these feelings that you have when you don't want to do it. Turn up. Do the thing.
There's a video. There's a video of a guy catches David Goggins out running. Right? He's out running and a guy comes up to him with a video camera. He's like, Goggins, give me some life advice right now. I'm struggling right now, anyway. And Goggins is like, look around, motherfucker. He's like, do you see one single soul out here? He's like, no. He's like, how hot is it? He's like, it's 30 degrees, obviously, but today say like 100 Fahrenheit. He's like, you don't need me to say anything. He's like, look, this is what you need. He's like, you don't need me to say anything because people just want you to, they need to hear, like, but seeing him out alone in the hottest day, getting after it, what more do you need? What more do you need him to say? You can see it, but you just want an easy option. And that's the problem with the world.
Absolutely. There is no path without sacrifice that's going to get you to where you want to be. And it leads nicely into the other thing that do you reflect in a really good way in the sense of like, you've said this before in interviews, like there is no balance. You, I suppose, are obsessed. You have to be. You can not be obsessed and get what's sitting in front of us right now. Talk to me about obsession and how that has affected you.
Yeah, I've been obsessed since the day I started Muay Thai. And it's amazing because when you're obsessed with something and, you know, whatever it is in life, you should go and try and find that thing that brings you that feeling of obsession. And obsession is going to bed, the last thing you think of. When you wake up in the morning, it's the first thing you think of. When someone's having a conversation with you, you're not even listening to them because in your mind, you're thinking of the thing you're obsessed with. That's what obsession looks like. Watching videos on it constantly. It's all you think about 24/7. That is what obsession is. And for me, I'm very happy that when I started Muay Thai, it took over my life. It's all I could think about. And still to this day, like, I'm bad for it. Like, my wife could be talking to me about something serious and I'm just, right, I've started MMA now. So it's like that new obsession for me right now. Everything's new again. And it's like, I'm thinking of, like, how do I, like, you know what I mean? And then she was like, Nico. And I'm like, sorry, but, and my mind just drifts because I've just found this new obsession now and it's in learning this new other art. And there is no balance. There isn't kind of obsessed or a wee bit obsessed. It's, you're either obsessed with this thing to the point it's all you think about and it's all you want to do, or you're not obsessed. And that's it. There's no in between. And there's no balance either.
There is not. That bell would not be sitting here if you tried to be a electrician, you tried to do a bit of Muay Thai.
But it's the thing that we spoke about earlier on. You know what I mean? One toe in, one toe out. It's either all in or nothing. And that's always been my mindset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Love that. One of the things we've spoke about a lot on and off camera to do with obviously like stoicism and things like that. And one of the things that you reflect so well in the decisions you make in your life and the conversations you have in your interviews and everything is the idea of understanding what Stoics call the dichotomy of control, the things that you can and the things that you can't control. Why is that so important to you?
Yeah, I absolutely love this. And I'm going to give you a good reason why. But with time, I've got better at this. You know, if I'm really, really stressed about something to the point that I just can't quite, this will always be the phrase that will bring me back to level base. Always this: control what you can control. Don't try and control what you cannot. So a little, on the lead up to my wedding, my wife, Amy, she kept stressing out about the weather on the wedding day. Weeks and weeks, every day she would be on the app, and I kept saying to her, why are you stressing about something that is out of your control? You are ruining your tranquility. That's all you're doing, ruining your mood when it doesn't have to be ruined. And so this was every day this went on. You know what I mean? I'm like, control what you can control. What can you control? What day to be fair, I don't even know what I'm talking about because she dealt with everything. I don't even, what day you're getting your makeup, what day you're going to see your dress. But these are things that you can control. Who you're telling, what invites, like that's the stuff that you control. The weather is the one thing that you cannot control, and you're beating yourself up about it. You're ruining your tranquility. My friend Jazz, my best pal, another thing, he is the most stoic person I've ever met in my life, but he doesn't even mean to be. It's just in him. And I always tell him about stoicism. He never reads about it. Or maybe he doesn't, he just doesn't tell me, right? He says he doesn't read about it or nothing, right? And he's the most strongest willed person I've ever met in my life. His mum died in December. His dad died last week. Right? So that's 2 in the space of 3 months. And his reaction to this is the most stoic thing ever. So I speak to him all the time. I check up on him all the time. And he's like, well, when his mum died, it was, she's gone. Nothing I can do about that. I can't bring her back. I can't control that, mate. And it's like, right, so what can I control? This is him saying this. He's like, what I control is the next plans for the funeral. I can control that. I can control who I'm surrounded with over the next few weeks. I can control my emotions. I'm going to train every morning because when I train in the morning, it puts me in a better headspace after it. This is him telling me this. I can control how I choose to react to things, and I'm choosing right now to be in the gym because I'm surrounded with all the people I want to be, and that to me, after your mum dies, is just. It's alright. I was speaking about it. You know what I mean? We speak about stoicism and that, but see, putting it into practice the way he has, honestly, is words I don't really know. He's such a strong person, and then the same thing. His dad phones me. Literally, his dad just dies, and he phones me, and I'm like, he's like, mate, I'm just gonna focus on what the right things to do next is. He doesn't let his mind span out of control. It's just right. What can I control here, and what is out of my control? What is out of my control was bring them back. What is in my control was the next steps, and that is immediately after what the hardest thing you can go through in your life. That's the first thing he goes to, and that is the power in this quote. It can always bring you back to level base.
Absolutely, you're right, man. Like we will never. He's gone through something that so few people ever go through, but he sets a perfect example for you now, for me as well. Hearing about that, that is. But you're.
He's telling me on the phone, and as he's saying it, I'm thinking to myself, mate, like I'm thinking, how the fuck are you freaking out? How are you doing this? It's like it's like he's like a superhero. It's crazy.
And that's it. And we can all use that hopefully to never go through something like that. But the reality is, shit's gonna happen in life. Some pretty horrible shit's gonna happen to all of us. But we can always control how we respond to it, and that's what your friend's doing to an absolute fucking T. It's so powerful. And as I said, like, look at all the hardship that's happened through your life, all the different things, and in different levels, different magnitudes. You've always, or at least you've started to look at it from that frame. It's like, okay, this is out with my control, but how do I respond to this?
That's it.
That's where the power is. Action is the antidote to anxiety. Why?
So, you know, if you don't do something, you regret it. You know, so for me, no matter what it is, like pursuing Muay Thai full time, what's the worst that could happen? The worst that can happen is that I ended up exactly where I started, sitting my trade test. But if I don't pursue this thing, then that's where the burden of regret comes in. And that's the anxiety in it. So the action for me was to pursue this. The anxiety would have came from the what if. See that what if? Don't like that. Hate it. That will wake me up out of sleep. That's a nightmare. What if? Never let that be part of your life. What if? Just do. Put in the action. Oh, what if I'd done that this morning? Or what if I'd done that last week? Or what if I should have travelled more when I was younger? Do everything now. Do everything now when you're young, you're fit and you're healthy and your body allows you to do it. So, action keeps the anxiety away.
Yeah.
You know, for example, the other day I've been on antibiotics lately. I'm feeling a bit shit and down. I woke up the other day and I felt so sick. Just felt so weak. And I said I was going to go out and run at 6 a.m. and I ended up taking Carrillo out first just because I just tried to get rid of this feeling first. When I got back to the house, I still felt the same. And I went out a run. It was an awful run. It was at 9 a.m, which by the way, over here, 30 degrees at 9 a.m. right now. And it was so hard. I was struggling. It was too hot, but I got back in and my mood had changed. I was very happy that I'd done it anyway. It wasn't my greatest run ever, but I'd done it anyway. And you know, if I didn't do that run that day, it was just Monday there. If I didn't do that run that day, the rest of the day, I'd have been saying, oh, I probably should have done that. I'd have been living in regret. I'd have been anxious. I'd have just felt shit. So, action is always the way.
Absolutely, man. Action is the antidote. It's quality. We've been through 11 lessons so far. One of the last ones before we move on. The valiant ones always win. What is that?
Valiant ones do always win. So another thing that I heard one day, and it stuck with me, and it's always stuck with me. 3 guesses where I got it from. Goggins said at one time he was at a run, he was like, the valiant motherfucker always wins. And I heard that and I was like, that is very true, innit? To me, the valiant one always wins means, well, for a start, I use that as me. The person who's willing to endure everything. The person who's willing to suffer more. The person who's willing to stay in the fight 1 second longer. The person who's willing to do one more rep. The person who's willing to do one more mile. The person who's willing to just do more, stay in the fight that little bit longer. That is the valiant one. That is what the valiant person means. The person who can endure more. And for me, I feel like the universe always pays those who work the hardest. and I'm not good at anything. I'm not more talented. I'm not smarter. I'm not better at anything. So the way that I get the world to pay me my flowers is by outworking the crowd. And that's by being that one valiant motherfucker.
Powerful. Vision for the future. Obviously, we've got this belt. It looks incredible. You've got all these potential names you could fight. You've had a little bit of time after the fight to think about it. Where's your head at just now with what the future's going to look like?
I want to defend the belt. I want to fight Muay Thai, yeah. But I definitely think that I'll pursue MMA as well. That's all I'll say. Yeah. Let's see what happens.
What's the training like? Obviously at Bang Tao, you've got not only like a fantastic Muay Thai gym, but one of the best places, not just in Thailand, the world, to train MMA with regards to the coaches, with regards to who's there. What's it like training MMA?
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously my striking's already far superior to everybody's. So for me, it's just about learning the ground game now. But honestly, I couldn't see how I could be progressing this fast anywhere else but Bang Tao. You know, like you just touched on the start, like the coaches and the people that are there, and I'm progressing at such a fast rate. Whereas like if I was in Scotland or something right now, it would be like I would need to like travel 40 or 50 minutes to get to a gym, and maybe they only do wrestling and the stuff I need to get really good at maybe 3 times a week. Whereas at Bang Tao, it's like every single day. Some days it's twice a day, and I'm getting like 1-to-1 sessions with the best wrestling coaches in the world, Frank Hickman, George Hickman. So I'm progressing at a very fast rate. Yeah. So it's amazing. Life's good.
Must be obviously some big fighters there. What does your training look like? So let's say, for example, you're doing some grappling with this jiu-jitsu, wrestling. How does that work? How do you guys does JP have a big say in that? How do you guys structure your sessions?
No, JP doesn't have a say in that. Right now I'm out of camp. I do me, but doing me means progressing and being 1% better than I was the day before. And I'm learning every day, so therefore I'm progressing. It's the invite only MMA, so it's like a small group for just the pros, and I go there. I train with them. Most days, you know, some days if it's just been drilling, I'll train again in the afternoon. If it's live and it's very hard, then I don't need to train again that day. But that's pretty much right now. Training for me is just looking like I'm wrestling and grappling a lot, and I'm just trying to fast track it.
Yeah. Ideally, would you do some running if it wasn't so fucking shite to run over?
Yeah, so this week I've been doing running because I can't go in the gym right now. I'm on antibiotics. And so, like, just the way my mind works is like, okay, you're on antibiotics, you're not grappling this week. What are you doing then? Because you're never staying still. So if you're staying still, you're getting worse. Yeah. It's either better or worse, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, yeah, I have not been running at all because I've been grappling so much, and my God, it kills me. I love running. It's truly one of my biggest passions in life. This is the one main thing I miss about Scotland is the trails and the people I run with. But obviously this week I've not been allowed to grapple, so I've just been out running. Yeah.
So it's a bit of a struggle here, innit? To get a good bit of distance.
Shit. Aye. And the heat, you need. So I've got a dog. So like back home, I never stressed about what time I'm running at or anything, because if I went out to run, she would come with me. Up the hills, 10 mile, 20 mile, she's absolutely fine with that. Over here, I need to take her out at 6 in the morning, or else it's too hot. So I need to either get up early and go out a run, but even like if I was to get up early, she still can't run. She'd overheat. So then I take her out, then I'm running in the later part, like the 8, 9 o'clock, and you just overheat. It's awful. But through the hard stuff, you're always getting better anyway. Yeah.
Absolutely. How do you find it living here, man? Also, it was a big decision for you to come out here, bringing Callie as well, bring the dog. What's it like living in Thailand and literally living and breathing this?
I love it. I absolutely love it. Especially where I am. I don't think I could have made a better choice. Through the relationships I've built, through where I am in terms of like, it's very westernised, and we've got our ice baths, we've got all the recovery stuff. You know what I mean? I stay in a nice wee villa with a pool. It's amazing for Callie. It's a different kind of life for her. She loves the mountains and stuff, but she's always in the pool swimming and stuff. I've got the beach. Callie loves swimming. So it's amazing, but it's the same thing. Like, if I didn't do this, it would just be one of the things when you're older. And I always said that Amy was quite sceptical about coming out here. Not like she didn't want to, but she just didn't know how to think, how to react. And through being here, she's like, this has now made me realise that I want to live the rest of my life like in another country. This made me realise how much I love being in these kind of climates, this kind of lifestyle. But I always said to her at the start, I was like, see if we don't like it. It's a year of your life. When we're old and we've got grandwains, we'll look back on it, we'll say, oh man, me and your granny, we moved to Thailand when we were 26 and we loved it. It was the best year of our life and all that. And it's only a year, big whoop, but you done it anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or you don't go and you regret it. So that's the way I think. That's always the way I think.
Yeah. Shows up, and also that's one of the main points why we went over this today, because all the lessons that you've learned, whether it be from Muay Thai or your journey, shows up in every area of your life.
Aye, it does, aye.
So
it does.
That's powerful stuff, man. I mean, just again, I was reflecting before we came in here, mate. The last time we sat down was about 10 months ago in Glasgow.
Time flies, man.
It does, doesn't it? 10 months ago in Glasgow. 10 months later, we're sitting here. Obviously, as I said in the beginning, we've got the belt in front of us. It's it's nuts, mate. To look at like you, of course, we all know, everybody that watches you knows who you are, believe in you. But to see what you're done and to see how humble you stay, it's so fucking inspiring, mate. And I know there's gonna be so many people like me that are listening to this episode and I'm thinking, fucking hell, man, like, look at what he's done. Like, I can pursue improvement in my life. I can push forward. I can do all these incredible things. So it's basically a thank you, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, mate.
For everything that you've
been crushing it and all, mate. I've seen your.
I appreciate that.
I've seen your socials, mate. You've been living a great life, mate. It looks on the outside anyway.
Yeah.
You've obviously decided to go all in, and the same thing is one day if it doesn't work, you look back on it and say, I'd done it anyway. But living in regret is just something that never sits well with me in anything we do.
Absolutely.
If things don't work out, you're just back where you started. But if you don't try, then you'll never know.
Yeah.
And never knowing's scary.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you, mate. And I'm sure everybody listening does as well. So thank you for coming on today.
Nah, man. Thank you.
Thank you, mate.